Okay.
I swear I've done this before.
Alright. No. What's up, everyone? This is my NCP draft analysis. It's gonna be really good. It's gonna be really... I am intoxicated. That's fun. Yeah. We're gonna get right into it, everyone. The NCP, it's hosted by... D-Ray? It's hosted by D-Ray, I think. And it's hosted by D-Ray, and like OG Albina's part of it too. So I was like invited to it, and I was like, I don't know. But then I thought about it. I was like, you know what? There's a lot of people in this league who I haven't gotten to fight, and people who I think people would like to see me fight, and people who I would like to fight as well, because just a lot of people I don't share a ton of leagues with, as well as a few familiar faces too. So it seems like a nice group of people, and yeah, I wanted to try something very niche. So we were talking, right? And I was like, all the high tiers suck. Like, I hate them. Like, they're the most life-denying things. They're boring to use. Like, let's do something cool and niche and fun. So I was like, you know what? Rain Team. Rain Team would be really cool. I've never used weather at all. I think I used like sun like once in like 1 week of one league that I dropped. But I want to try rain. I've never tried rain before, so that was the goal. Did I get rain? Tune in to find out, bitches. But along with any good rain team, also I was the middle pick, which is typical. Anyway, Zapdos was pick 1. Why was Zapdos pick 1 when there was Garchomp on the board and like every other real cool high tier? Because I'm bored of those high tiers. So before you call me bad for being like, ooh, with Zapdos, I've never used Zapdos. I want to use Zapdos. Let me use Zapdos. Plus, if I were to draft Rain, Weather Ball, all that type shit, it's a good mon. Plus, like, even if I don't get Rain, which may have happened, it's still good, like, defensively, as a pivot. And, like, it kind of fits, like, my playstyle. I know that I've been kind of, like, on this, like, weird HO train lately, but if I strike back a little bit more to, like, pivot offense and all that kind of stuff, Zapdos does the little turny thing. It gives me removal. It gives me a good speed tier. What else does Zapdos do? It has good abilities.
Only 2 weaknesses get static and pressure.
Why do you know that off the top of your head? How does it only get ice, rock?
That's it. It's a phenomenal defense.
I can't believe you know that off the top of your head. That's crazy.
I've used it a lot.
Next pick, everyone, is Scizor. So I'm like, Rain Team, God, off to a flying start with Zapdos. Yet, my next pick was going to be Ferrothorn, because it's like, what, like, good hazards, thrives in rain, you know, fire types don't want to come against them. So Ferrothorn, right? Like, who picks Ferrothorn round 2? Apparently fucking Kaz picks Ferrothorn round 2, because all of my fucking plans died, along with my hopes and dreams.
That was crazy.
So then I cried a little. I actually did cry. I actually like was like depressed, because I was like, I have a whole ass Zapdos now. So I was like, okay, maybe I can like salvage this whole rain thing. I'll like pick Scizor now, and like it's not the same thing as Ferrothorn. It's completely different, but in the same way, it's something that pressures fire types not to come. It's just a mon that's all around really good. We just went for it, y'all. So hey, I mean, it's a nice pivot core with Zapdos. Like, the bulky waters will come in on it, and then I'll U-turn, and then Zapdos will show up and go, I'm a bird. And then if things come in against Zapdos that are like, what the fuck comes in against Zapdos? Electrics?
I suppose. There's not a whole lot that comes in on Zapdos. Like, it's just special defensive moves in general, which
Yeah.
Scissor can come in on.
Well, if Zapdos just like slowly wears things down, I could also run like Banded Scissor that just goes like Bullet Punch to clean and stuff like that. It'll probably work. It's fine. I know what I'm doing. I'm a top player. Come on. Latias was next pick. I've never used either of the Lati twins, ever. So this is gonna be new and fun and exciting. Still was kind of on the rain train here. I was like, you know what? Might lose those mystical firepower things, but that's a powerful surf right there. But I also liked it because I wanted to get a dragon kind of that high up. I was thinking about Dragonite, but I like the speed tier Latias gives. And at this point, I don't need any more removal. I wasn't even thinking about removal, but just like it was one of those perks that I was like, great, now I have 3 removers. Really don't have to stress about it for the rest of the draft. I like it in terms of just pressuring the shit out of steel types alongside Scizor. So like, steel types can be annoying, but if I have 2 mons that are like forcing steel types without recovery in to take like chip, it frees open the other one, if that makes sense. These thoughts are kind of lining up in y'all's brains, because it's all that I'm about. I'm here for education and such. It pivots, it gets baton pass, right? Pivot.
It gets Photon Pass, and it still gets Aura Sphere, so like...
That's true. I can hit those steals with Aura Sphere. It's just AG. Well, no, I can Shadow Age. Yeah, fuck Mystical Fire. Who the fuck gives a shit about Mystical Fire?
Yeah, you have Scizor, like you only...
Yeah, it would only be for Scizor. Yeah, it doesn't matter. And I have Aura Sphere for that.
Yeah.
That's fine. Alright, never mind. Y'all are dumb. Y'all? Me. I'm dumb. Sorry. I'm... What? Okay, Seismitoad. Supreme Rain Sweeper, but also just like ground type that is viable in rain, thus my choice. Yeah. That's the pick. However, at this point in time, I'm like, this sucks. This rain team is dog shit. I don't have Ferrothorn. Like, what else got taken? Some other bullshit got taken at this point. Kyurem got taken. I want Kyurem. Kyurem was gone. Oh, fucking Liv. Dude, Liv has really been, like, sniping me. Come on. I wanted Kyurem. That's what I wanted. And then Latias. Bitch. Fuck that shit. Anyway, I got Seismitoad, and I was like, this isn't working. So here's where we come to the impasse of the draft. I got 2 options. Option number 1, go the rain route and give up on certain essential roles, such as higher speed tiers, some bulk. I couldn't find any spike setters that I found viable in a rain team that weren't, because Ferrothorn got taken, you know what I mean? So, everything was going to be iffy. Or I can try and salvage now what looks like a UU low tier draft into something that is sort of a team that has a bunch of high tier mons that, even though I don't have a super duper high tier mon like a Garchomp or a Celesteela, I can use the spare points that I've accumulated to create a team that's so unpredictable because I have ton of high tiers, even though they're like mid high tiers rather than like ultra super duper high tiers. That makes sense? I'm asking people that I can't hear your response right now, but I imagine you're nodding your head yes, right? Are you nodding your head yes? He's nodding his head yes. So logic, sound makes ton of sense. So Spiker time. Not Spiker's Rosary. You could argue that I could like run this with weather, but Synthesis is gonna get nerfed. It's like, why would I want to boost up water type attacks I'm trying to switch into? I figure just Roserade's pretty good on its own. It's another mon that I think helps out. Things like Latias and Scizor between spamming Sleep Powder, Leech Seed, wearing down steel types. But mostly spikes. Like, spikes and toxic spikes are amazing here. This is a grounded poison. It's a nice speed tier between Seismitoad and Zapdos. That is pretty effective and I think that makes the gap entirely closed in terms of mons in between those two not being able to run a boosting nature against me. Maybe base 75s, but I don't even know what those would be. But it's pretty cool. Roserade's a cool thing. It does cool stuff. I want to run physical at some week and some point, and I don't know when it'll be, but I will try. Next mon is Arcanine. Arcanine is a mon that I wanted to use for a, like, bombastic amount of time. I don't even know if that's, like, a correct, like, adjective to describe that, like, amount of desire. I don't even know if that word, I think I completely misused that word. Like, I think that means something completely different. But it sounds like it describes my excitement for using this thing. I've been inspired by the one and only Wolf14. He used it a lot in CGT, and I was like, God damn, this thing looks like a lot of fun. Because I think a lot of people pigeonhole this mon as, like, a, like, Morning Sun Will-O-Wisp type thing, when I feel like it's just an offensive monster. Like, it really is. Like, it's offensive, it has great abilities, it gets extreme speed, like, it gets, like, solid coverage between, like, now getting Play Rough and Bulldoze, and I don't think it gets Stone Edge, but, like, it gets other stuff. It just looks pretty good all around. And I've been toying around with it, and I think I can come up with some pretty cool stuff. That's going to make Arcanine very offensive and very viable here. I also wanted to, like, get more priority than Scizor, just because, again, I feel like I'm a player who thrives on a lot of priority. I'm outside of, like, a Selgor, there's not a lot of, like, super high speed tier mons that I'm very fond of. So strategies that have a bit more reliance on priority is what I find a little bit more appealing. Plus, like, I think it's just pretty easy. I'm a pretty good priority user, right?
Yeah, I think
fucking
I remember
fuck shit
you
up.
using, like, let's say Lucario in the PFO search.
Yeah, I fucked some shit up with Lucario. I'm gonna try Lucario on Sword and Shield. That sounds fun. Okay, so now I kind of make the decision, okay, do I want to go more offensive, more defensive with this, more balance? I kind of opt for the more balanced route. This is probably going to be the last sort of defensive piece to the team, because I didn't want to put so much pressure on Arcanine to take the fire and ice hits, and I also don't have a ghost resist as of this current moment, so we're rocking out with the Snorlax. Never used this on any Wi-Fi team. Used it once on Showdown, loved it on Showdown. So hopefully I get that equal amount of excitement on Wi-Fi. Big fan of Curse 3 attacks, big fan of some Rest Hawk sets, depends on the matchup. Yeah, I mean, that guy. No, I would probably have more excitement to run Rest Hawk than you. It has really cool support options too. I don't remember what. Let's find out together. I believe it gets like Thunderwave and Yawn and all that kind of stuff.
It definitely gets Yawn.
It definitely gets Yawn. I don't know if it gets Thunderwave, but like Body Slam is functionally Thunderwave if I just like cross my fingers, hope to die. Snorlax. Oh yeah, immunity and gluttony. That's pretty cool. Oh yeah, its coverage is fucking nuts.
Yeah,
it's crazy. Oh my god. Whirlwind. It's a nice phaser too. That's pretty cool. Yeah, no shit. Alright, yeah. Snorlax. That's it. Block! Oh my god, I'm blocking so much shit this season. Yep, god. This is the mill tank of the season. Let's fucking go. Y'all aren't ready. I'm gonna be another fucking inspiration or maybe less inspiration, but whatever, you get my point. Yeah. I don't even know what I was trying to say. What was I saying? Yeah, anyway, block Snorlax. That'll be a thing. Maybe. Probably not. Grimmsnarl. Grimmsnarl was an adventure to try and get because Sally wanted to get it and Sally and I were kind of coordinating and he let me have it. So shout out to him. He could have gotten it, but he knew that I'd throw a hissy fit if I didn't get my way. So it's mine now. No, it wasn't entirely that. We talked about it. So, yeah, I got Grimmsnarl. I thought Grimmsnarl was pretty good, again, with screens and all that. And I have mainly Latias scissors, those setup sweepers, but you'll see that I have a few other options soon. But I also like it because I was lacking a dark, I was lacking a fairy. I wanted to have more priority in Sucker Punch. I liked it offensively because, again, even though I just got a ghost immunity in Snorlax, I wanted more, if that makes sense. I didn't want it to just be like ghost plus fighting move like wins. I need something that makes certain ghost types struggle. So next time I face a ghost type, if I face Gengar, it's gonna have to worry about Sucker Punch Grimmsnarl, it's gonna have to worry about breaking Snorlax, it's gonna have to worry about a few things. So I just like pressuring those ghost types a lot more, especially since Dragapult is obviously allowed alongside like a few other things that are very scary, like Lando Eye and Zamazenta. But the other thing I really like about Grimmsnarl is its ability to prankster trick things, because I have a lot of mons that like I can either go with the whole balanced playstyle or I can go with the whole like offensive one with a bunch of setup. I feel like that's something that's pretty effective. But the other thing too is I used Grimmsnarl very briefly in the EWT before I dropped and handed the team off to Matt over the summer. And I enjoyed it a lot because it was a mon that I felt could like functionally be built to counter anything, so long as it wasn't like weak to it typing wise. But like I built it to like beat a Dracovish. That's pretty crazy. Like, isn't that nuts?
This thing beat a Dracovish.
Well, it beats a Dracovish because you prankster T-Wave it.
Yeah.
And then Fishious Wren does like jack shit. I think it did under half by how I EV'd it. And then Play Rough outspeeds after you T-Wave. So there you go. It doesn't switch in, obviously, but
yeah,
like I'm just more so saying can't do shit. So I think the set was like T-Wave, Reflect, like Spirit Break, Darkest Lair or something. But anyway, yeah, it's a good mon. It can do quite a bit, and it can be built to beat many different things. Before I pass out, let's get to the other two mons because I feel very lightheaded. Zygarde 10, mon that I have not used on Wi-Fi or Showdown? I don't know. It feels like a mon I've used on Showdown before. Maybe I'm crazy. This mon is kind of bad, I'm not gonna lie. This mon is like really frail, doesn't hit as hard as you'd want it to, but it makes up for that in the fact that if you can get it to +1, I think it's fucking insane. Also, E-Speed is really good. And then Thousand Arrows is obviously just like unresisted by many teams. So even if it hits kind of less hard than a Scizor or a Latias or something, it makes up for that in the lack of coverage it needs, where it can run other things, and where I have all of the screen support and stuff like that. I feel like Zygarde 10 can sort of thrive on certain matchups. It was also pretty cheap. Like, I usually wouldn't drop it for like 11 or 12, but I believe it was 10 here. And, you know, it just gives me a mon that's faster than Latias, which I thought was relatively important. Finally, last mon, I wanted to get a smidge more speed as well. We are doubling on two different types with this pick, although I guess Zygarde is also doubling on other types, but there's nothing wrong with Dragon Spam, nothing wrong with Ground Spam, especially since Seismitoad is going to be kind of defensive. Last mon is Sharpedo. Gives me priority, gives me some extra speed, and honestly just gives me like a cleaner, right? Like if I want to make Scizor more defensive, if I need to make Zygarde like Bandit or a Breaker, it's another mon that I can just say, okay, this is a speed boost mon. I can center like an endgame around that I can like feasibly see working. And if I see that route, then I'll go for that route, essentially is how it goes. So that's the idea behind Sharpedo. It's just a mon that I can sort of have as like a standalone thing on the side that may or may not mesh with the rest of the team. It's more so that like if I need that like fail-safe win con that I can like use in like any build, like Sharpedo functionally can be a win con in any matchup. You just have to build around it correctly. So it's just one of those mons that I think can save me in tough situations, especially since because like as you can see, I've made a team that like if you're going up against these 10, like any one of these 10 can viably come. Like you cannot look at this 10 and say Snorlax is 100% not coming. Like that's just not the case. Like all of these mons have matchup to some extent, like just because they're naturally high tier mons. I've gotten a bunch of mons like 10, 11, 12 points. So there's going to be mind games there too. But if I feel like I want to pursue a little bit more offensive of strategy or do a little bit more simpler of a win con, Sharpedo does give me that avenue. So perks with the team, I think I built around not having rain pretty well after the kind of first 2 picks. I haven't had to kind of like scramble to reconstruct a draft like this in quite a while, so I feel like I did pretty good on that front. I think defensively, it's really strong. It's one of the most defensively strong builds I think I've ever drafted on arguably the most defensively strong build I've ever drafted on Wi-Fi, between Zapdos, Scizor, Latias, Arcanine, Snorlax. I just feel like I have a lot of defensive tools with a lot of defensive utility behind it as well, like screen setting, as well as like Leech Seed, Sleep Powder from Roserade. So defensively, I think it's one of the strongest builds I've had. I think it also leans into priority pretty well, which is, again, a strategy I'm pretty comfortable using. Negatives, obviously, I think there's going to be some matchups where I just feel like out-tiered, especially given that like there's going to be a Zamazenta Crown I face at some point in the season. There's going to be a Dragapult, a Lando Eye. There's just all these things that like do exist that I'm going to have to kind of figure out some kind of way against, even though I don't have a equal caliber top tier. I mean, Zapdos is great, but it's not Lando Eye. And then I would say the other negative is the hazards. It's just Rocks, Seismitoad, and Spikes Roserade. Not sure if I'm going to fix that in the future. I've drafted Seismitoad before, and it's the freest rocker I've ever fucking seen. Like, it just never doesn't reliably run rocks. Like, every time I've drafted Seismitoad, I've tried to draft like 2 other rockers with it, and they just never come. So, and especially like because rocks aren't that great in this gen, I have the Spikes Roserade. I can't imagine like both of them have like horrific matchup at any point in the season, so maybe I want to get more, maybe I don't know. It looks pretty good. So that's the team. Do you have any thoughts? What do you think about the team? Give me your honest thoughts.
I think your sleeper pick will be the Psychic 10, because I like how anti-crash team you have with things like Zapdos and Scizor. And if opponent has to rely on bulky waters, you have Zapdos and Roserade to pair with it.
That's true.
So I think this draft wasn't obviously intended to build around Psychic 10, but I think you have like some nice tools around it. And I think same can go with Sharpedo too. So I think some of your lower tier offensive mons have the right partners from your earlier picks. And I think that's something that you may or may not notice as you're building along, but at least I see the promise there. So I like the team.
I like that observation. That's very apt, and honestly, that has made my brain open up just slightly more to this team. So honestly, I could see myself hating this team after week 5. I could see myself loving this team after week 5. We just have to figure out what that is. I think it's going to be one of the most, because one of my big things when I draft teams is I want to make sure that they're teams that can win no matter what the matchup is. I'm afraid there's going to be 1 or 2 matchups that I face this season that I look at and go, this is going to be a huge uphill battle, just because, again, I don't have that super, super high tier, which frustrates me a little bit, but we'll work our way around it. Generally speaking, I think that outside of that potential fear, I'm gonna have a lot of fun using this team. I have to fucking play tonight, even though I'm blasted. So we'll see how it goes in week 1. You're gonna see that next week go up, and yeah, I hope you'll enjoy it and enjoy this season. It's just gonna be an 8-week season, so a little bit less time than other leagues. UPBA I think is 9, so those will line up pretty well. After this, I'm not gonna lie, might take a break. Might take a break for some leagues. Just a little bit of a break. But until then, we're going to try and make this team work. And we're going to try and kick some fucking booty. I'm really excited for my schedule. There's a lot of people who I have yet to play in the community that I get to play this season. And some people who I have played before, but not in, I guess, serious, normal tier league play. So a lot of cool stuff coming up. So stay tuned for that. All right. Let me know what you think of the team down below in the description. Go subscribe to Vepsis. Why? Because I told you so. Also, you know, I don't know. I feel weird always asking, like, subscribe to me. Do it. You probably already are since you're watching this video. But if you're not, fucking do it. Why? Because I'm like, why the fuck wouldn't you? I'm like the coolest fucking draft league player in the world. But yeah. All right. See you all later. Bye.